Hello, in today's video I will show you how you can create maintenance platform around the bottom flat vertical tank as the one that you see on your screen. We are going to reuse this family that we created long time ago. As always, all the families can be found on our webpage under the tutorial section. As you can see here, we have a lot of them already created, and of course here we also have section with Pipex templates that you can reuse in your projects. We can download it. Now we're going to load our family to the project. So just to remind you how it looked like. This is our tank, including the insulation. Oh, everything is over here. Also a few nozzles already attached to it. So now I'm going to load it to this project because it's mechanical. And here we just place the equipment. As you can see, it's half transparent because we have selected initially wrong view template. In this case we can use architectural plan, or doesn't matter because it allows you to see generic models. How it works exactly we will cover in one of the other videos. So here now when we have equipment in place, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it kind of makes sense. Have a platform around of it. And also let's make it with the height of 6 meters. Yeah, this family we can close for now. Yeah, now I will just save this project to somewhere. I will call it mechanical. To be stored in this folder, just somewhere on my desktop. And now we're going to load the project where we have this tank into the architectural project. To see the equipment, we're going to use Insert, Manage Links, Revit, and via Add we can find where the project was stored. Here in my case it's the same folder. Then you need to select proper way how to merge it. As you can see here, you have several options. In your case, most commonly it will be by shared coordinates if the beam coordinator have already selected proper shared coordinates for your project. If not, then you can easily use center to center or project base point to project base point. In this case I will use project base point to project base point. Then we can click on OK. And as you can see right now I immediately got an error. And the thing is, you cannot load one project into another when they are opened in the same session of Revit. If you have opened it in different sessions of Revit, it's not an issue, but if it will be in the same session, then as you saw, it's a little bit of an issue. Then we can click on Add. And here we have our tank. Then what we can do, we need to go to architectural view. We need to select architecture tab, and here what I will do, I will build the whole platform including the stair with the stair tool. When we are working it, I'm going to explain it to you how it works. First, in this project we need to define elevations where we would like to have our platform to be installed. In this case, just to not create new elevations, I'm going to adjust this level, level 2, and I will move it a little bit higher than the roof of the tank. So let it be 600 or 6300. Here also in the parallels you can see we have reference planes from the project we loaded. how you can change it. There are several ways how you can do that. We're just going to use this view. For example, architectural elevation. We still can see levels, but what we can do, we can go to Revit links, select over here, display settings, by host view, and here we're going to modify categories that we don't want to see. For example, in my case, I don't want to see grids and levels. So I just need to disable them in that list. Yeah, you can find them not in the model categories, but in annotation categories. So you can disable them by simply removing checkbox against them. Grids and levels. Apply, okay. Apply, okay. Apply, okay. And now you can see from this view it disappeared completely. So now when we have defined the top level of the platform, we are going back to our top view and we start with the stair itself. Here we have already defined that the top level of the platform will be at level 2 and the start of the platform will be at level 1. So what will be the next? Next we are going to start with the stair. We just need to define where we would like the stair to be started. For example, I would like to have it here. And here it is. Stair was created. Yeah, it looks like that. And now we're going to customize it a bit. Because this is not the kind of industrial stair that you would expect to see next to the vessel like that, you know? So, how can we change it? First, I'm going to add extra platform somewhere around this area because for sure we shouldn't have 6 meters straight. So I'm going to change it in that sense. As you can see here, we precisely can see on which elevation we are. Okay, so let's create this intermediate platform. I'm going to create it by using a landing. And I will just draft it. Also, we will use this as a center line. Here, for example, I would like to have it, let's say for 15 degrees. It's the outer layer. Inner layer, as you can see, Revit is already helping you where it should stop. Then I just need to close it. And here it is. Yeah, as you can see, you can also modify it a little bit, just to make sure it's more realistic. We just need to move it a little bit. Yeah, we could have drawn it correctly in the first way. But, well, it doesn't matter. And here you can see we have intermediate platform created. And now we can just continue to the top. We're going to use the same tool. And we just need to create the remaining part of the stair. Yeah, as you can see over here, it's also not that well centralized. Technically, you need to have created a bit more reference components just to make sure that it's perfectly centralized. Yeah, I will just make it approximately, but in your case you can create it properly, of course. So, and then when when we have intermediate platform, we need to create platform at the top of the tank itself. And here we're going to use the same way, just landing. So we can create a sketch. Yeah, to make it nice. Let's keep it like that. And then I would like to change it to this style. And yeah, for example, like that. Yeah, and let's try to close it. As you can see, it's not possible because it should be closed system. So technically, as long as the inner line is not connected to the outer line, it will not work. And here is one trick. What I'm going to do, for example, for now I will assume that I don't need such a big platform at the top because, yeah, why do you need it? At least in my case, for sure it's not needed. So I'm going to delete this section. But if by some reason you would like to keep it, what you can do, you can add a small break over here. So for example, here you can indicate the ending of the platform, and here you can also indicate it like that. And then you can have this platform created and covering the whole top cover of the tank. It's up to you how you would like to show it. Then what are we going to do? Yeah, I'm going to modify it to match my case that I have in my head. So I will just keep it half of it. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify it a bit. Well, technically here I think right now we don't need it. We will do it a little bit later, once we change the shape of the stair itself. Because right now, as you can see, it doesn't look like industrial stair, it's more or less like civil one, inside of the regular residential buildings. And of course, this is not what we are looking for. Now we're going to reshape the stair. First I'm going to delete those rails because we don't need them right now. And now we need to create two types of profiles. Both of them will be based on U160 profile. So also I'm not going to follow the geometry precisely, just to give you an idea how does it work. Just with some approximation. First one and the second profile. Also I will use plus minus same dimensions, because right now it's not that important. Also I'm going to save it as rotated one. And now I'm just will load both of them to our project. And what are we going to do right now? We're going to change the profiles that we have across our stair. And we're going to start with the run type. I will keep this view selected so you can see how our changes reshaping the stair itself. So first I'm going to change the run type. For sure, right now we don't need riser, and if you will follow the model you will see what will happen. As you can see, all those elements are gone. And then I'm going to change thread to, instead of default, we will have thread profile. And here we will use U160 rotated with 90 degrees. You can play with this value if you would like to. In my case, I will change it to 10 millimeters, for example. And for now, we will keep it like that. Then I'm going to change the landing type. From same as run, I'm going to select it to have thickness of 10 millimeters, nosing length 160 to match the size of the profile. Then next step will be right support and left support. In both cases we will use structural deep length on landing 150 and on run 0. Yeah, of course, because we use default, those values were available, and now once I move it to the profile, then it will be already predefined, so we cannot change it. And as you can see right now, the shape of the stair changed completely. Now it starts to look like more or less as the industrial stair. Here we also need to do some extra modifications. I'm going to change it to begin with riser, so elevation on this connection is matching. And basically that's it. The only thing that's left, we're going to check the elevation that we have over here, and as you can see it's a little bit inside of the structure itself, so I'm going to change it to 6.4 meters. Yeah, I think it should be sufficient elevation. And as you can see here, the configuration of the stair already suggested us that we need to do something in this area, and that's what we are going to do right now. I will just select this view that we've been working before on, and I'm going just to rotate it. For my convenience, I will use wireframe, also to not miss all the components that I would like to rotate together. Then I just need to specify the center point and simply rotate it. Yeah, as you can see, because of the center of rotation in our case wasn't ideal, it's not matching, but I think you can make it a little bit better in your case. Yeah, I will just keep it as it is. And once you go to the 3D model, you will see that it starts to look like industrial maintenance platform. And of course, right now what we can do, we can add also railing to that. To add railing, you need to go to architecture tool, and under the railing there will be drop down. And what you can do, you can immediately place on stair or ramp. And as you can see, in our case this happened because here it was not ideally connected, but if in your case you will connect it ideally, then it will be not an issue for you. In my case I will just keep it as it is, or I will just modify it manually. You can also do it in the same way. My assumption is that from that side of the tank I don't need railing, and technically this is partially true, so we can keep it like that. And I'm going to change the type of railing to pipe, for example. And then, as you can see, it looked like industrial grade stair that you can freely present to your client. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.